You know, if you didn't say 10 seconds, I wouldn't have to count in my head.
It'd make it a lot easier.
Aggressively hate you.
That's fair. You're right, too. But...
Good evening. Welcome back to BoomerRexTonight, your nearly daily source for news and politics. Let me introduce our boomer, Mr. Rex.
Good evening.
Asshole Millennial.
Is it
We
midnight
already
yet?
met, asshole.
And
He's the one who
I
can't wait for 10 seconds.
am RisenLadyHeathen, female millennial. They both eat, sleep, and breathe politics. I'm still learning. We will give you this information from each perspective at our literal round table. Let's dig right into our headlines. Tell me about the Pentagon chicken.
Oh, yeah, I love this.
The fuck?
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
yeah, wandering chicken got caught trying to sneak into a secure area and set off all the alarms.
Okay.
So I'm telling you,
Yeah.
right, there's no damn question. Clearly a Russian agent. She's bright the hell red.
Birds
right.
don't exist.
So, what?
Birds don't exist.
Yeah. Anyway, so she wandered in. They had to get some people to come get her out,
Someone has x-rayed
Right.
this chicken by now, one assumes.
I assume.
I,
Anyway, she's
in the 50s, we did wire up a cat
yeah.
and a dog. Neither
Yeah.
worked very well or for
Dolphins,
very
too.
long. Oh yeah, dolphins at least worked. Dolphins will catch you a diver every time if they think there's a Snickers bar or whatever
Well, there
dolphins
were
eat.
dolphins. Yeah. Anyway, so she's a Rhode Island red, and they went and captured her. They, no idea
That does sound pretty
why
common.
she wanted to get into the Pentagon, but anyway,
Raptors.
they say she's very sweet and she's very nervous. But she has let some people pet her, so I assume she was somebody's house pet chicken.
Belongs to the
Got
Pentagon
out and
now.
it was damn cold, and
Yeah.
she was looking for a place to get warm.
Yeah, whatever. You belong in the Pentagon
Or
now.
looking for secrets, as I said. She's clearly a Russian
Security
agent.
forces just got a pet.
Yeah. Well, that's how I would have handled it.
I'd have had
but-
privates putting up signs on the edge of the property saying "Found one chicken.
Yeah.
Please contact Gate E for."
Yeah. I suppose if she's going to run around and set off the intrusion sensors, she can't do it.
I
Anyway.
mean, you could make a harness so she doesn't.
That's true.
All right, are we ready to push on?
Sure.
All right, tell me about punishing the real problems with Stop the Steal.
Yeah. Now, so
yeah.
let's realize the problems are not the folks who showed up at January 6th.
Ah.
A bunch of them need a year in
I
prison.
had this speech earlier today.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm willing to
Okay.
bet. It starts out exactly like this anyway.
All
'Cause
right.
that was bad, but they couldn't have actually done anything from there.
Well, we're clearly finding out there
You
was
gonna
this
fling predators
whole.
off the roof? Alright, fine, but that's a reason to storm the building and shoot everyone who's standing up when you get
Yeah,
there.
agreed.
Not a reason to decide who's in charge.
Right.
And after they throw the first person, doesn't everyone else use their TV time to be like, fuck these people? These are un-American.
So anyway, the problem is not the folks who showed up, and they were just the pawns,
Yeah.
right? And they've been treated like pawns. They're still being treated like pawns.
They're so angry.
A lot of them are going to get stuck with a felony.
And we'll do it
shouldn't
this
have
way,
gone
like,
in.
the corporatists don't care, but they are so angry with their customer service experience, they were willing to try and depose the runner of your park.
Yep.
Like, this is some Jurassic Park level customer service failure.
Yeah. it
Okay,
really is.
so you have some information you want to share.
Well, the point is that you've got this whole panoply of people, which is, as the January 6th committee continues the investigation, you realize how far-flung this was, right? You've got senators, you've got people who were in the Department of Justice, you've got idiots like Rudy Giuliani, you've got this whole laundry
And oddly,
list.
nobody at NSA apparently. Because they were talking about going and seizing raw data from the
Oh,
NSA, and one, I expect the NSA to resist
Resist that. I don't think I'd show up at the NSA
that.
in
Right?
an assaultive mood. So
I think
anyway,
that's how you end up with all of America's computers smoking and on fire. Because if this isn't like, right, hacker.gov, what the fuck are we doing?
you had all these white-collar insurrectionists who were genuinely set to conduct a coup against the government of the United States of America,
Yep.
which makes them liable under the 14th Amendment.
Yep.
Let's hang it on them. They can't hold any federal office ever.
Yeah.
Not elective office, not appointed office. They swore, they lied, they betrayed
They
their
attacked
country.
the Constitution of the United States.
Absolutely. And that's what we should be pushing for, is
Agreed.
that all, when we
federal
get around
employees
to
take an oath?
charging them, we should be pushing the 14th Amendment remedies as well.
Do federal employees take an oath?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, virtually all of them.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I know the military does,
Yeah.
and I suddenly decided I had no idea. Like, I assumed, right, foreign service kids do. But, like, these people fucked up. Right, because this goes all the way down to the bottom, too. That's the part that concerns me, is we just saw a central nervous system for a coup light up all the way down to the toes. Right, they've got people looking into Kelly Ward out of Arizona and asking for her cell phone data. So, no, this is...
About damn time.
Well, and like Wisconsin, where they knew they had lost, not
Yes.
where they didn't even request a recount.
Oh, yeah.
Which you
No,
would
but you
do
look
if
at
you
the
thought there
list,
was
right?
genuine
So you've got
thought.
Trump and Gosser and Hawley and Cruz and all these others say, they didn't personally use violence. Yeah, you don't have to. They gave comfort to those in insurrection.
Yeah,
They
no,
led them. They encouraged
I'm
them.
not
yeah.
forced to
Hang the
largely point
14th
out
Amendment on them and get them out of the government
during
forever.
his failed coup for all his wearing of whips, Hitler didn't use a lot of violence either.
Yep.
That's
Him and his
true.
buddies just got drunk while holding hostages. No, this is more concerning for me because that makes January 6th the smoke.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes it the diversionary operation when the other thing is happening.
Right.
But at
Like-
the same time,
So let's put out the fire.
as we were discussing earlier, it also, these January 6ers have shown that they are willing to do some shit.
Yeah.
And don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So,
No.
yeah, maybe
Again,
they
hang the
maybe they
felony on
weren't-
them and drive on.
Right. But my point is that this shows that if they try to do something like this again, they have enough backing that we could potentially have another J6 type of situation while this other stuff is going on behind the scenes,
Oh,
like it was
absolutely.
this past
No,
time.
they're planning on doing this again.
So
Yeah.
you have boom, smoke screen while they're doing all this shit,
Of
and then the
course.
next thing you know,
A
boom.
bureaucratic entanglement so bad we'll call it probably not the Brooks Brothers riot part 2, but something. Probably Zengo riot.
Anyway,
But I would be I intend to very carefully watch this next election because I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of stuff going on
oh, absolutely.
in the bad way.
And it'll be nothing by comparison with 2024. Especially since I don't think Trump can win in 2024. I think Trump scares the independents. He's going to get beaten literally everywhere.
There's open.
It's going to be worse than 2020.
I don't know. He's still doing his rallies and people are still fucking going.
And
less.
they don't count for anything. They're like 19% of the population. Screw them.
But they're willing to vote.
With 1%
That's
of
fine.
the population.
It
that can
doesn't.
bring your
It doesn't
government
matter.
down.
They voted in 2020, and the son of a bitch lost by 7.5 million votes.
No, he lost by 46,000 votes.
Yeah, okay.
Let's be honest.
So, no, it depends on how the independents are getting squeezed.
Yes, agreed.
Because, no, I don't think CRT is going to motivate a lot of independents because they aren't racist. They're fundamentally broken in some other
Yeah.
way. It's most of your libertarians. That's the, right? It's
Whatever.
pro-gun and some other stuff.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Yep.
I can praise the
But
Democrats.
right now,
on
let's
notice.
hang a 14th Amendment prohibition of federal service on a whole bunch of folks.
Oh yeah, no, that would certainly help thin out the pool.
I'm
But I
sure
promise
would.
you, there's plenty of people willing to step up and take that. Pool.
I am incredibly proud of Biden for having lied to Gabriella Gifford's followers about the gun nonsense.
Yep.
Because her gun plan was a reason I nearly stayed home. In a state where we needed all the votes we could get.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about BoomerRex's About Damn Time.
So this one, this is so typical. So a Georgia sheriff has been charged with sexual battery
Yeah, right?
after he allegedly fondled a woman's breasts at a hotel bar last month. Okay, fine, hotel bar, I got it. Yeah. Beckley County Sheriff Christopher Cootie intentionally fondled the woman without her consent. He was apparently attending.
A
This is
3-day conference
Yeah.
on advanced training and whatever the hell.
yeah, I'll be curious. Do we know what the training
For
was?
the Georgia Sheriff's Association at the hotel.
Oh, God.
So anyway, they gathered statements from multiple witnesses and they charged him and arrested him.
Good. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Don't touch people.
Who the hell are these people who think they are this entitled? Well, they're the kind who attend 3-day winter training conference for Georgia Sheriff's Association.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's just fucking dumb.
yeah, just idiotic.
All right. So today we have not just dumbass of the day, but dumbasses of the day.
Oh yeah, I love this. So school officials in Alabama say they're being accused by the parents of the now forbidden tenets of critical race theory simply by recognizing Black History Month.
Yeah.
Where does the
Fuck these
Republican
people.
Party get these fools?
Yeah, fuck
Do you
these people.
grow them?
Yes.
Do you inject their little brains with something to kill their brains so all they can do is wander around and whine?
Well, the not bleach they're all into, but yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, many parents are accusing schools of teaching critical race theory.
This was the absolute most predictable
And the lessons in
outcome.
question have absolutely nothing
Of course
to do
not.
with critical race theory. The average Republican couldn't explain critical race theory to you after they'd had a class on critical race theory.
No, they're going to
I'm
use
just-
this as the cover for not one. Right again, America has school books that children here use to learn that refer to slaves as unpaid workers.
Yeah.
As
It's
though
kind of
that's the
kindest-
problem.
Yeah, that's
It's a
the
labor
kindest
dispute.
thing you could fucking say about this.
No, prisoners with jobs is the only one that's better. And at least there is some inference that they have committed
They-
some
yeah.
infraction, that
And are
some
not
authority
free.
beyond fuck you, all my guys have all the guns.
Yeah.
And no, not really.
Yeah. Anyway, and you can probably blame that one on the Texas
yeah.
board that
No,
picks
for
the school
goddamn
books.
sure. And the fact that everyone else is buying the cheap books because Texas
I
buys
hear
a lot,
almost half of the folks on that committee can read.
right?
Yeah.
No, this was absolutely to be expected. This is that they do not suffer a backlash for this kind of behavior.
Yeah.
Right, that they have purified their party sounds bad because it implies that having driven out all of the not
All the
white
ones who can
people-
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they've done that.
Yeah,
That's
so
their
I
party.
want the opposite, having
That is the
corrupted their base
Republican
enough
Party.
that it's all this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's striking and
Run in circles and
infuriating
whining.
and it's what you do when you your ideology doesn't allow for, oh, that's right, we used to tax at 74%.
Yeah.
Like in the life
And if we went back to that, we'd solve every goddamn problem.
yeah,
The infrastructure would sparkle, the schools would be good, we'd have adequate
I'd be
social
willing to
net
turn
for
the
mental
Republicans
health.
loose to find waste, fraud, and abuse.
Absolutely. Anyway,
No.
just idiotic. I mean, to the point of laughability. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene crap.
Speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm going to be talking about her in a second. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
I'm going to
tell-
get through one more
tell your
story
next
and then
story.
you can, yeah.
The problem is those are all reactive armor, right? That hit them all you want. That's what they're there for, right? She's going to get reelected in a landslide.
Okay.
We'll see. She's the one out of the South somewhere. She's not Boebert.
Yeah.
Boebert's out of Colorado, right?
Yeah.
She's in genuine ass trouble.
Haven't heard much from Boebert recently.
I'm pretty sure someone in her campaign said, "Boss, you want to keep having this job where you don't have to do
And
a lot?"
taped over her mouth.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Go on.
So I love this. So here you've got an accused Capitol rioter. He's talking to a federal judge
Oh yeah.
during a status conference in his case. And the incident began when he asked the district court judge for permission to speak during the hearing.
Yeah, this one was weird.
I love this one. So after the judge warned Kenyon that he might want to consult with his attorney first, Kenyon shot back, I have a high enough IQ range to not screw up there, boss.
Yeah, do you know an
So
IQ was
mid-70s,
only-
you figure? So.
It could well be high. The problem is the IQ test isn't a measure of intelligence; it's a measure of likelihood to act up in class.
Huh.
We then repurposed it to this other thing because, oddly fucking correlated.
So having proceeded to qualify himself as a high IQ individual, he asked the judge to, quote, acknowledge that he had a right to defend himself if prison
Yeah.
guards in D.C. tried to assault him.
No, if you're in prison.
The judge said he wasn't going to rule on any of that
That's not
nonsense.
how that fucking works.
Yeah, you do what you're told.
Yeah.
And
Welcome to the
sometimes
real world, asshole.
being assaulted has something to do with that.
I'm not saying it's okay.
Yes, you
for-
absolutely do. That would be the finding of fact that would happen after your court thing. If you assault a prison guard, it's unlikely you'll be walking in your next prison or your
Right.
next
Exactly.
court case.
Right.
So do what you're gonna do.
And I'm perfectly good with that. I'm sorry.
I can't argue with a person
no,
whose
I-
wife and children are homeless, thinking the American government hasn't done much for them, and they can't think of a reason they would help it if it needed them to save its life, and we
Yep.
do.
No, I am all about prison reform, right? But as long as everybody is in there getting treated a certain way, I'm sorry, you don't get fucking special treatment.
They are.
You get treated the fucking same way as
They're not
everybody
in Gen
else
Pop.
does.
They're in their whole own ass wing where they get to sing songs and carry on.
Yeah.
Which is a
Which is some
mistake,
bullshit.
They're
but
pampered.
but it's 6 to 5 and pick 'em, because the other side of this is you've got somebody explaining about how, no man, Black History Month is exactly critical race theory, and then we got a dead fucking Peckerwood.
Yeah.
And I mean, no loss to the gene pool likely, but once you take away their right to defend themselves, you do have a responsibility.
Yep.
Which is why the fact that prison guards pretty much don't exist on the ground is bullshit.
So, shall we move on to an update on Omicron?
Oh, no.
No? Oh, that's right. We've got your thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Skippy McSkipperton.
Yeah, well,
Of the Connecticut Skippertons.
The third.
I was nearly a third.
no,
My
you weren't.
dad is a third.
Well,
So, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is on the rampage.
Oh, I love it
So-
when she rampages.
Oh God, this is hysterical. So she posted a 20-minute video to a not well-known site that none of us had ever heard of before, called Telegram, because she's been booted off of Twitter for her.
I've heard of Nazis.com before. I mean, Telegram.
Okay, so asshole is the only one who's heard of it, because me and Boomer were like, what the
I read a
fuck?
lot of extremist shit.
Anyway,
I think it's supposed to provide secure messaging.
Yeah.
so she was.
Having lain on one of the survivable ledges of like modern American extremism,
Yeah.
like I have an interesting view, like because what the Marine Corps does to people is not okay. It absolutely makes ultranationalists, but it makes them in a very specific brand.
So the reason why she posted on this is
Yeah,
because
not allowed.
she's been booted off of Twitter due to her
Yeah.
anti-mask lies. Okay,
You
So
don't end
she's
up on
been giving
BitChute if you
bad
got a choice.
information, and because of her misinformation
You
about
mean
COVID
Jewish
and
space
such,
lasers wasn't enough?
they
Fuck
they
no.
got rid of her. So anyway, so she has a sign outside of her
I've
office
forgotten about her little horrible
that says there are two genders, male and female, trust the science, exclamation point.
This is what's offensive, because if she had said sexes, she'd have been right. Gender has to do with and in humans, and
Yeah,
it would be a long ass thing.
And there are
So
hermaphrodites.
this
and-
sign,
Not any functional ones.
this sign is outside her office in Congress since last February in response to Marie Newman, an Illinois Democrat, who has a trans child and put up a trans flag outside of her office. So now Marjorie Taylor Greene is whining because it's been vandalized 6 whole times since she put it up. She claims it was someone who works in the Cannon House office building, as it is currently closed to the public. I quote, criminals roaming the halls of Congress, unquote.
Other than her, you mean?
God. Quote, I want you to know about the criminals who actually work in these office buildings because I've been having to deal with them now for months and months.
Oh, you poor little thing.
Supposed to the camera and drive on.
Another quote. This sign is such a trigger factor for Democrats and apparently people who actually work in my office building, that they started vandalizing this sign and then they stole the sign. So I've gone through 6 signs since early last year.
Oh, my God. Poor
She a
thing.
senator or a state
Poor
rep?
baby state rep.
It's a rep.
So one sign had Free Palestine written on it, and between the words are and two genders was the word not. So it reads, there are not two genders.
Well, which would follow the science, but okay.
One had written on it, masks for thee and not for me, which allowed her to brag about her $100,000 in fines for not wearing a mask on the House floor.
Which is cool, and if I were contributing to her campaign, I'd be goddamn pissed that some of the money's going to that.
Right? So this dumbass also screeched that her faith was attacked due to someone writing a Bible verse on one of her signs.
She's allergic to Bible verses?
She's allergic to her own Bible verses from her own Bible, apparently.
Oh my God.
This is not okay.
She's kind of sick.
They're attacking her with her own religion, and she will not stand for it, I tell you.
Probably their religion, too.
A recent incident had a sign taped to her sign reading, trust, true disciples of Christ don't say the things that you say, act the way you act, and treat people the way you treat people. And she finds
Fairly
this
accurate.
offensive. Oh my gosh.
I can understand why she finds it offensive. It's deadly accurate.
So Stupid McStupidhead, her response, her weak response was, this is criminal activity. It's vandalism, destruction of property. So when the person gets caught, they're going to be held accountable.
It's likely not even the biggest crime committed in the Capitol building that day.
But
I guarantee
here's
you
the
it isn't.
scary thing. They work in our building, she complained hysterically.
Yeah.
She's requested video cameras outside of her office so she can, quote, feel safe. Bitchy McBitcherton needs a safe space.
I love it.
She's
Well, they're so personally fragile, right? And that just shines through this mental and moral fragility that is the Republican Party.
she is ridiculously convinced, quote, because if someone is this crazy, so crazy and deranged over a sign that says there are only two genders, male and female, and they keep attacking it, then obviously they may try to attack me personally. My response to this, we could only hope, dear heart.
This is like when the right-wing radio kids talk about how the deep state's gonna assassinate them and make it look like a suicide, because, even they don't want to be them.
So she finished her pathetic rant with, anyways, I just wanted to give you all a little heads up on what's actually happening in Washington, and it's Loserville in Washington, absolute most pathetic place I've ever been in my life. Completely disgusts me. It's totally dysfunctional. The Democrats are destroying our country, and there's idiots that have to run around and vandalize signs because they're so triggered by the fact that there are only two genders. Seems to me her real issue is the fact that she's wrong.
Well, and she seems to have been really badly triggered.
Fall
She
down, look
seems to be
hurt.
triggered by the fact that,
No.
she's an idiot.
None of that was for about 3 lines in it were for internal consumption.
Yeah.
All the rest of this was for external.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, fucking ridiculous.
No, this is
Just stirring up the moron
Oh,
crowd.
yeah. No, she's fucking
no,
stupid.
it's
and
lightning
worthless.
rod. It's loads of smart lefties are going to look at that and have to respond because every other line at least has some factually wrong thing in
Yeah.
it. And the left feels that the right exists because of some sort of cognitive failure. Right, that they just don't have the right information.
Yeah.
As opposed to a completely alien governing philosophy that effectively is might makes right.
Yeah.
And they know if they can take the military and convince it, the only way it and America continue to exist is this way, the military will likely break the wrong direction.
My troops.
The
would
military's
have-
got 327. Yes, they'd vanish. That's the best outcome.
No, this whole situation with this fucking whiny little whore, and I mean that in the kindest of ways. I don't feel like she's promiscuous because I don't feel like anyone wants to fuck her.
I was gonna say,
I
what's
mean
sex
it in
workers
the
do to
bad
you?
way that she should go to hell and die. Or die
like
and
the
then
way
go to
she
hell.
said-
I don't know how it works
What
in her
order?
fucking
Yeah.
brain. I don't give a fuck.
It sounds like she's already managed to go to hell.
My point is that if she hates it there so much, Don't run.
Oh no,
Please.
she's damned by the fact that
Please do us the favor and don't fucking run again.
she's damned by the fact that if the 50% of Republicans that believe this kind of right, this is the political way forward, right, of the outrage machine and 12 other things. She's doomed already. She cannot get more outrageous. She is not that good at creative writing.
No.
Right? This is the problem they're into is they have always kept that bench of the pool very short, if nothing else, to deny them oxygen. Because it is. This is where we get all the death culty garbage. This is where we get the God Emperor worship of a strong man. Like,
No, she's fucking weak.
No,
And
it's the worst.
She like you said, fall down, look hurt, like she's playing fucking game of soccer.
Yeah.
Well, and we all
Fuck
came
her.
here through such different routes, right? I'm not surprised that many of us, like, we don't have a single coherent idea, right? The right at least has religion as a generic concept. Because I promise you, if you get them discussing the weeds of religion, they'll go to suicide bombing each other by lunch.
Anyway.
Oh, for sure.
No, just I saw this story and I was like,
Just couldn't.
oh my god, I've been so looking forward to tearing her to shreds over this because she is just such a whiny little bitch.
Yep.
Grow the fuck up. You're not in elementary school anymore.
You ran
All
for
evidence to the
office.
contrary
She would
notwithstanding.
get beaten up for
Which-
this shit in high school. So I can't even say she's in high school.
This falls well into the category of talk shit, get hit. Right? When does she think she stepped into the ring? Was it just this sign, or when she ran for and won an election, when she then released public statements as a state representative from, like a whole ass state?
No, and I remember when she made a big deal about putting up this sign. I remember. Because the other woman was like, are you fucking kidding me?
All she'd done was put up a
fucking piece of
rainbow
shit."
flag.
To support her child.
Yep.
End of discussion.
No, this
Not
was,
even
she
a little.
always, you can be sure that she was hoping it would be vandalized or stolen or
Trump
whatever.
ran away from Roy Cohen like he was on fire, except instead he was covered with death and AIDS, and
There.
he was a lifelong fucking friend of the man. Like,
Right.
he taught Trump everything he knows about avoiding responsibility, because he is a past fucking master.
Yep.
And, like, he's what Roger Stone wants to be when he reaches his final form.
Yeah.
And no, I find this human fucking repugnant, but I also find them to be, right, noise, not signal.
Yeah.
Right, because the moneyed kids are going to ditch her the instant she doesn't win, the moment they can get some retired hedge fundy in there or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? No nameable Republican
Somebody who
wants
won't
her.
be quite as embarrassing.
Yeah, well, she only works if you're going to take power.
Yep.
So, in closing, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Can suck
don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you.
All
it.
right.
Whatever fucking crime scene you got going on in your
Yeah,
face.
seriously. Fuck.
All right. So,
So
now
tell
are
me
we up?
about an Omicron update.
All right.
I like
Is
it.
it getting worse?
So, no, they've collected a herd of data.
Proof
on
there isn't an
Omicron.
afterlife and wishes don't count.
Yeah, right. Anyway, and you can sum it up really simply. I've got a couple of paragraphs, but screw it.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to, like, make you go faster.
People who are not vaccinated against COVID-19 are 97 times
saw
more
that.
likely to die than people who are vaccinated and boosted.
So you're saying fuck around and find out?
Kinda.
I just have
like
to take,
that
I am
number.
required to take that back from the Proud Boys. They can't have that one without at least punching me in the neck once.
Yeah, okay. Anyway,
No, that's too useful a phrase.
how much data do you need? Oh, no, well, that's, they don't actually take data, and, they're just, yeah, right. Anyway, whatever.
Fuck yeah.
Then it'll come out in
Yeah.
the wash, won't it?
Uh-huh.
Yep, it will.
All right. So tell me about
You pay
climate
your money,
weirding
you take your
update.
shot.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yep. Okay. This one's on climate weirding.
Mm-hmm.
This about Antarctica?
No.
Okay.
This one is new and interesting.
So's the Antarctica thing.
It's not just about global warming.
Oh, it's about the ocean temperature.
It's not just about temperature.
Okay.
It's about humidity,
Yeah.
right? And that's what matters in generating dangerous climate extremes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So anyway, we've been looking at temperature, right? And that's been one, the big thing that we were looking at. And yeah, we've got global warming going on. Yes, it's caused by people. Yes, it's getting worse. No, we're not doing anything to fix it.
More than 50% of the ocean is in emergency heating conditions at any given day.
Yep. So
I'm sure it's fine.
that skips the bigger problem.
I hadn't planned to tell them, but I'm also not entirely on the human team.
So the bigger problem is that the warmer the air is, the more moisture it picks up.
Right.
Right? And this moisture is in the vapor state.
Yep.
Right? So when that moisture condenses, like rain in a hurricane,
Clouds and such. Yeah.
it releases a huge amount of energy
Yep.
in the process of condensing,
Right.
much more than the temperature difference in the air. Right? So the moisture is really the problem.
So this has gone a different direction than I thought. Carry on.
Okay. So from 1980 to 2019, the world warmed 1.42 degrees.
Yeah, that's why 1.5 was bullshit when fucking Paris Accord talked about it.
Yeah.
We're at 5 at the polls.
If you take the humidity into account, it has warmed 2.66 degrees.
That's where the missing
And
numbers
if you
went.
go to the tropics, it has
Yeah.
warmed by 7.5 degrees.
Yeah.
Wow.
The tropics have warmed so much they're no longer creating a kind of cloud they needed.
Yeah. So, anyway,
Yeah. The system is coming apart.
Oh boy. We're all gonna die.
going to be exciting. Oh, I don't know if we'll all
Don't forget
die.
to like, comment, and subscribe and send us money before we all die, people.
Absolutely.
And remember, if you're dumb, you're probably going to die in a slave pit.
So, anyway, I have one I saved for the end.
All right, so this is Randos teaching classes.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to have a discussion and figure out what our next thing is.
That too.
We'll do that afterward. So, with teacher absences rising
Yeah.
and substitutes in desperately short supply, so parents are kind of wondering who the hell's going to teach the kids. And
Everybody
In various
always
places-
wanted.
in various places around the U.S., you might
Yep.
have a local police officer,
Yeah.
National Guard soldier,
Yeah. No,
state
this is-
budget analyst, a parent,
Yep.
a recent high school graduate.
If they can pass an active background check, which I assure you they're doing as much as they can on this, no, this is exactly who we wanted. Like,
I'm wondering if it's not true
Mhm.
that you're going to get some different perspectives and some different people into the classroom.
I got to cover history
will in some
at
way
a
be
military
enriching.
academy because they couldn't get a teacher in.
Yeah.
So I was just a long-term sub, and that was some of the most fun I've ever had.
So,
Now, there's also probably a classroom full of people who have a really weird view about history, but
yeah. So anyway, this is an interesting thing. Is it good or bad? I'm probably more good than bad.
yeah.
Certainly more interesting than nothing.
And they're there mostly to socialize. The actual educational portion of a day can be covered in about 2 hours.
Yep.
Block of instruction and homework.
Yep.
That will then demonstrate you. So the rest is socialization. Almost any adult who can hear thunder
Could
Yeah,
handle
and
that.
see lightning.
See lightning and hear thunder.
can keep the kids from hitting each other with chairs.
And can maybe lead an interesting conversation
Absolutely.
based on a life
They
that's
might accidentally
very
give a
different
true
than their
answer.
teachers. Yeah. I
Yeah.
parents are complaining, wouldn't it have been better for teachers to teach remotely? And
Cool, we tried that and everyone freaked the fuck out.
Right.
Because, whoops, you need them as a daycare center because, well, having only used religion, your kids really don't know how to make babies, but damn, they've got some impulses.
yeah. Anyway, I'm kind of thinking the National Guardsman might be an interesting. But
I
anyway.
think kind of all of
Yeah.
it. I'm vaguely worried about the cop, only if it goes bad, because then it's just, right, where's the line on assaulting officer and not? But
Yeah.
you know what? Fuck it. I don't care, really.
Yeah. It's a learning experience either way.
Right?
So anyway, okay. So we
Well, and
decided.
to some extent, like, this is part of the problem, because at some level, I really do kind of want us to create, like, a set of jobs where, like, you want to box with them, go for it, teenagers. When they beat the shit out of you and you regain consciousness, because they're not just throwing wild haymakers like a child.
Right. So,
like,
anyway,
yeah.
I mean,
the answer is yeah, it may be a positive thing. Let's find out.
yeah, well, and again, let's be honest. What sort of okay? So every teacher I had a book that they taught from.
Exactly.
Any idiot can go say, turn your page, you turn your book to page whatever. This is what we're going over today. And that was like my elementary school life.
Yep.
Not in middle school, it started to get more broad, more, not so much like teach the test, but also teaching us important stuff.
Yeah.
And then in high school, it was again more broad. You always had that one or two teachers that were, just here's the book, like
Yeah.
math. That was this place where pretty much every teacher, it was just whatever was in the book. But my point is that with a lot of this, I promise you I could teach a middle school, a high school class.
Absolutely.
I would never want to teach an elementary school class. Fuck your kids. But
We're just doing art today, guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, high school I think I would have fun with.
We're doing art and playing the quiet game.
I've spent enough time around teenagers and helped raise enough of them that I feel comfortable.
Yep.
And
that I
it's
can get in.
basic stuff, right? If nothing else, if you're going to be there short term, it really is just go in, put your feet up on the desk, and be like, so what questions have you ever wanted to ask your teacher, but you're afraid that they'd be like, oh, I know this, and it'd be a boring answer.
Yeah.
Oh, except we can't do that because now there's mandatory reporting and
I'm a
blah, blah,
substitute
blah.
Lincoln, suck it.
So anyway, no, I'm
I
visualizing
hope
some.
they sue me, those motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah, right?
I'm visualizing some National
GoFundMe
Guard
so
soldier
quick.
teaching a math class, right?
Right.
And turn the page and go, hey, one of you kids sitting out there can teach this.
Yeah.
Get your ass up here to the board and start teaching.
Yep.
And go sit down. Right? I mean,
Who's the
how
smart one in this
you-
class? Who always gets A's? You? Cool.
Get
Up
your
here.
butt up here. Yep.
No, exactly.
Who gets A's and likes to show off? Get your butt up to the board.
Right.
Yep.
Show me
Perfect.
what you can do.
Yep.
Show me what you're working with.
Not even hard.
I mean, you do
right?
need enough of a grasp of the subject material to know when they're going off in the weeds, but
I think you can rely on the other smart kids in the class to
One
cut them
would
down
assume.
when they do that.
yep.
So it should be a really interesting class.
Oh yeah, no. I have really little problem with this. Like a lot of when I'm not reading weird things on Telegram or Getter or the other places crazies hang out. Like, yeah. My
Do you have a
business-
Getter account?
I know, but
Oh, okay.
I have an account that I can use.
Okay.
All right. So
All right. But you can eavesdrop on Getter.
Yeah.
Okay.
we have been slowly going through our list of what to fix. And the list consists of minimum wage, healthcare, safety net, justice system, tax system. So I feel
Let's
like
do taxes.
I feel like we can safely say that we have explained what needs to be done for
mental
the
health.
healthcare.
Yeah.
Or well, mental health
Yeah.
of the healthcare sect.
Yeah.
So do we want to
That was the social safety net.
social safety net,
Yeah.
we're gonna call that as part of the social safety net?
Yeah.
Was the mental
Okay.
health care.
Hold on.
Medical care is going to be similar, but I think we should
Yeah.
do taxes just so we can do we'll have a number. I don't know what number we would get.
But they're recent enough, we should actually be able to Google them up.
Yeah, kind of.
It's always nice when Goggle works.
Right?
Yeah,
But then
so-
we can just say it would cost this much to do whatever the next thing after is.
Yeah, right,
So take that from the giant pile of money.
right. And nobody will notice.
Yeah, and we can still give every pilot 100 F-35s for as a works program for aerospace in Europe, I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay, so what we're saying is that as part of the social safety net, the mental health issue,
Yeah.
and how to fix it, we've explained that in
We've
detail.
Yeah.
done that.
I feel like we have aggressively covered this.
We have
Yep.
a good model. We even had good legislation now to fund it.
So for now, we're going to step away from the social safety net, and we're going to go to the tax system, which I think is going to minimally tie in to the
Well,
social
I think
safety
that
net.
gonna
the
tie into
tax
everything.
system was the last one to be put on the list.
Well, we
Because
can
I
do it
was too
last,
dumb to
but
realize at the beginning that the tax system is the whole problem.
Kind of, yeah. This
Yeah.
is
This
Okay.
is the, this
So-
is the cause of the attack on Medicare, the cause of the attack on Social Security, the cause of the loss of the mental health
artificial
safety net.
infirmity.
Yeah,
All right, so my thought process of how we're going to go after this is go to the tax system and how it was when it started
Yep.
and how it's evolved over time.
Yeah.
and I think that that's the best way to attack until we get to this, to current times and what the numbers are.
They not only
And
cover
we-
American history. I wouldn't bother.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like because that's all we care about.
When should we start? I'm thinking we could start at the 40s
Yeah.
and cover everything of consequence.
I want to do research and see what comes up and see
Okay.
if there's anything. So kind of sort of as early as I can find information that's relevant to what we're dealing with today.
That's going to be the 13th Amendment.
Fine.
Yeah.
So, but my point is that I
Okay.
want to dig into, like,
No,
really
that's fine.
dig into the
Yeah,
details.
no, you did that. You did that on the mental health, and we came up with Kirkbride.
Exactly.
Right? I'd never heard his name.
Well, and we weren't intending on even going that far back. So I don't want to limit us by
No, I
saying,
agree.
yeah. So I think that as a whole, I want to discuss the American tax system kind of from birth, and it'll
Yeah.
probably be pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then to, kind of what you were saying, like the 40s and 50s, and then where it just
Yeah.
completely
Yeah, I'm sure there are-
devolved.
I'm sure there are scholarly articles that will get you from 1776 to 1940, or actually probably to 1920.
I'm thinking most of it starts in 19 something. But
Yep.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying it doesn't, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
most of the other taxes were state level at that point.
Okay.
So income tax is relatively new. Lord knows when. Might be 1813.
But I
A
figured
lot of that was a period I wasn't paying a lot of attention to America.
But I kind of figure, what with whatever comes out in my research, we'll kind of start at what I
Yeah,
feel is
no, I
like the
expect to learn
earliest.
something. This
point.
is cool.
Basically, the important part of American history starts from 1911 forward.
Because
Why
we've already
1911?
Because that's
You just
around the
picked
time.
date.
No, the invention of the 1911 has a lot to do. The 1893 was nice and used a
Okay.
lot of it, but that's also when America gets out in the world. We've got some colonies we're playing with. We've got some
Okay.
purpose in the world. That's where because the rest is farmers mostly agreeing on shit
Yep.
because no one asks us.
we already covered, what money used to be worth versus what people are
Yeah.
getting paid now. So what
Yeah.
people used to get paid versus what we're paid now, that sort of stuff. So we've already covered that. But I feel like it is time to really just dig into where things went wrong with the tax system, because
I'm-
we know
I'm
it's
up for
broken.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, Reagan
Cool.
and
Well, and let's see what it looked like when it was working.
Yeah.
Right? Or when it was
Agreed.
kind of moving along, and
Yeah.
then when it was working best. Right? So we're saying that's probably around the 60s,
Okay.
when it was working best. And then as it started to kind of devolve.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm going to be interested in the evolution of the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
yep.
Right.
so
anyway,
that's what I will focus on in my research, is just, kind of brief, like
Yeah.
what they started as, what they kind of turned into, and then when America was at its peak,
yeah.
as far as things going well, and then where we are
I would
now.
say pay some attention around the Great Depression too.
Right, of
Yeah.
course.
Okay.
And we can also discuss what went wrong in that time frame and why
Yeah.
it went so wrong. And we can also talk
That
about
was so
the
trivial.
recent
Yeah.
couple of depressions we've had. There was a
And why
bad
austerity
one
isn't
in
the
the
answer.
2000s,
Yeah.
the housing market collapse. Yeah, so
2008.
we'll discuss.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like there's a lot of information. And I've never looked into this before, so this is I don't want to
All
limit
new
our
ground for you.
yeah. I don't want to limit our
No, I agree.
looking into things.
Cool.
Sounds good. Good night,
Yep.
the internet.
So
Like, comment, subscribe.
like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Don't forget to heart and follow, and tell us, leave us a review. And we love y'all, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night on Boomer Rex Tonight.
Give the ghost of my cat $1.